Recess was my favorite time of the day as a child. The warm air, the smell of fresh cut grass, the dirt on my scraped knees that I didn't pay any attention to. And the outdoors, it's always kind of been my sanctuary. My fondest memories formed there, with the color of the trees and imaginary fairy gardens, animal footprints, and biking on hills that felt like mountains to me. It was all an escape that only belonged to me. Beautiful and untarnished, I thought it would remain that way forever. Very quickly, though, I learned that wasn't true. I remember being taught the 3 R's in elementary school: reduce, reuse, and recycle. Doing my part would ensure that the trees that I climbed remained strong, the lake that I bathed in remained clear, and the air that I breathed remained clean. It seemed easy enough when all I had to worry about was recycling my homework. But now that I'm an adult living in my own home and working a full-time job with 2 kids, I realize that protecting Mother Earth by going green takes a little more thought and effort. I have to consciously think about my footprint. So sometimes I wonder, why make an effort when it's easier to just use and toss? Many of us enjoy outdoor activities, like hiking and swimming or maybe jogging, really simply just getting outside for some fresh air. We recognize the value of our health. In fact, nowadays, the more we learn about how our bodies work, the more we start taking care of them. More and more people have begun working out, adjusting to healthier diets, even strengthening their mental stability. We do so much to keep our minds and our bodies clean and healthy, so why not do the same for the place that houses our mind and body? The house that sustains us all. It also needs protecting and nurturing. Where else would we go if the forests that we explored and the mountains that we climbed or the lakes that we swam in, if they all became polluted and ruined? Honestly, I often feel angered when I read some of these headlines. They say ravaging forest fires or an overwhelming number of hurricanes, rising sea levels, things like that. Probably you too, the anger and the sadness that most of us feel brought on by these devastations. The death and loss of livelihood, the destruction. I know it's real, but I do sometimes wonder if it's always genuine. How often do we take to the internet and post photos showcasing our grief? I mean, sure, it's so easy to just repost some news stories to bring awareness to other people, but individually, what have we done to actually change things? Reflecting on what Mother Nature has taught me about myself has made me understand the value of protecting her. The earth gives us more than we offer it. There's no doubt about that. And my compassion for this earth, it only gets stronger over time, as I'm beginning to see how much it has endured throughout its existence. It's easy to get caught up in day-to-day life and forget that our actions affect everything around us. But my compassion for the earth and its billions of inhabitants, it helps me stay just a little more conscious of my impact on my surroundings. Reducing my carbon footprint begins with just a few simple steps. Well, that's actually how it began. First, I had to practice mindfulness about what I was using or doing and why I was doing it. Was it for convenience or out of laziness? Was it because of the cost? I had to be as honest with myself as possible. In our busy and distracted lives, it's so easy to tell ourselves that using plastic grocery bags for just one shopping trip, or throwing out a used napkin because we didn't have the time to actually wash a rag, even using plastic dinnerware because we didn't feel like doing the dishes, that all of this isn't a big deal. But just in that list off the top of my head, there are 3 examples of how our really simple actions can take a toll on our planet. I mean, just think about all that waste. If Mother Earth teaches us anything of ourselves, it's to rise above our selfish motives, to overcome laziness, and all for the greater good, for now and the future. So when I began this journey, I started by actively researching products and systems that I can use every day that would reduce my carbon footprint and make some sort of positive impact on the environment. I started with cleaning products. They were at the top of my list. It seems the easiest. So once I collected the information, I was able to identify parts of my day that I could replace and streamline. So that's what I want to share with you. Just a few easy, quick, yet impactful things and changes that I made in my home and my daily life. The most obvious, I would say, is probably using reusable grocery bags and reusable containers, or like beeswax wraps instead of Ziploc bags, and wool dryer balls to replace like those dryer sheets, and of course, old notebooks for scrap paper. But then also other things like using dinner napkins or tea towels, or even like reusable bamboo wipes to replace paper napkins and paper towels, or trying out compostable products like sponges and toothbrushes. Something small, like collecting rainwater for indoor plants. And this one took a little bit, but I even researched some plastic-free cleaning products. A big thing that we don't even realize was unplugging devices that aren't being used. For bigger items, I started upcycling furniture from online marketplaces and buying secondhand toys and clothes, and even donated some of my own. Next, I want to try a compost bin for food scraps. Taking these steps, it wasn't easy, I'll be honest, but I try to remember that going green, it's a journey, and it means making small changes daily to curate a lifestyle that can work more permanently. It definitely requires discipline and drive, and it also requires education, but these values of preservation and avoiding waste, caring for plants and animals and other human beings, they're really essential for today's times. Only if we act with example can we even pass these values to the next generation so that they can build their lives for the earth, not just on it. This shift, it doesn't happen overnight. I'm learning new things about my footprint every day, but my goal, it isn't to be perfect, it's just to progress. So I want to share with you something that the Zero Waste Chief, Anne-Marie Bonneau, had said, and it actually helped get me started. She said, "We don't need a handful of people doing zero waste perfectly. We need millions of people doing it imperfectly." And I hope, just like it helped me, that can help you get started in trying to go just a little more green.